So today I'm going to be showing you how to build some targets and target stands out of just spare lumber that you might have lying around. Now, for the purposes of this video, I'm basically going to be making this out of scrap wood and deconstructed pallets that I have. Got some extra pallets over here that I will also be doing some stands with as well. Or sometimes, even just a pallet, get that leaned up against a tree or a stump, and you can just tack with a stapler on there, just some paper targets or just some cardboard targets that you have made. So really easy, really budget friendly way to do it. Let's go ahead and we will get started. So I've got this piece here, and it's about the right height already, and we will be making these the runs up to the top. This will be kind of the height of the target. I'm going to use these 2x4s that have been cut out from the base of the pallets that I deconstructed and pulled apart. What I'm going to use these for is these are going to be the base. So I'm going to have these over here, and what I'm going to do is I'm essentially going to have this be at the bottom and then this be in line like that. So put it in the middle, that way you've got a lot of stability here at the bottom, and then I'm going to put a board that runs in those grooves from one to the other, and that's going to keep it from going side to side. So once we get this put together, that will be the base, and that should hold everything in tight and make sure that we don't have any issues, and we're going to have a nice strong supportive stand. So we'll get that tacked into place, and then we'll move on to the next step. Okay, so now before I get started on the rest of that stuff, basically what I wanted to do is wanted to go over how I'm going to make the targets. So I got a nice big cardboard box here, and I just want to make some silhouette targets. And what I'm going to do is basically going to cut these big rectangles out. That'll be a nice, center mass size type of target, and then I can cut and then put in, say, like an A zone, leave a little flap up here for what would be the head on those silhouette targets. But this, you could make this out of anything. I get some of these boxes, just leftover ones that we don't use anymore at work. I'm going to use these because they're nice big heavy duty boxes and they will work really well. So I'm just going to take this, cut down the seams on all this. Okay, so now that I have that cut out, this will be one target, and like I said, I'm going to make one of these be the head on the target, and the other one, I'm just going to lop that sucker off. Move on to what I got left. So I'll hang on to some of these, see if I can do something different, but this will be kind of the base of the target. So as you can see, we'll have a nice center mass piece here, and then we can kind of cut and fit this to be kind of the head of the silhouette target. So I'm going to be using this size of box in the future on these targets. I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to cut to make sure that it will fit, so I can just staple it to the sides, and that way every time I want to replace it, peel this off, and then I'm just going to go ahead and staple a new target up there. One thing you can do also to make these last longer is if you've got some tape, you can tape up the holes, and then that way you can keep reusing that target until it's used up. So 14.5 looks like it'll be the right size, so I'm going to make sure that that's the size that I go with, and that is the spacing that I have on the other ones. So now that we got that out of the way, we can get back to the stands. So we want to make sure this is flush. There's not a whole lot of wobble in it. This one I actually need to put down a little bit farther, so I'm going to go ahead and back this out, move it down just a little bit farther. So once we get it in there like so, zip that back down and see how we're doing. Okay, so yeah, that feels a lot better. We're going to go ahead and roll with that. Looks like it's nice and stable. Standing on its own, not a whole lot of play in that. Once we get it reinforced and tacked down even stronger, then we'll be in business. All right, so that feels good. We'll reinforce that a little bit more here in just a minute. I'll show you how I'm going to do that. Those screws, they're not going to hold a whole lot, so I'm going to put some wood here on the front and the back, so that way as it's rocking back and forth, it's going to be able to absorb wind and everything and just make it nice and stable. So, okay, so I've got this piece from the pallet that I took off, and I have measured it. It is 40 inches long. I want to make some reinforcements for this, so I'm going to mark it off in 5-inch intervals here. So once we get that marked up in 5-inch intervals, we will cut it. You can do this with a handsaw or a circular saw, table saw, whatever you got available. I'm going to do this with a little cordless circular saw just because I have it. It'll make it quick and easy, and then we can get these reinforcements put in. So we are going to take these and we're going to set these just right behind it, just like that. So quick and easy. Get those into place, and that way, once we have these two on each side, we are actually going to cut another piece and lay it over the top and tack this one on over it, so it just reinforces this whole piece. It'll be a big kind of beefy joint there, and then that way it should hold up a lot longer. So we'll go ahead and get that done. Clamp these suckers down, that way they don't move on me as I'm getting them into place. So get that set. There we go. Get it nice and hand tightened down, and then we're going to go ahead and get this first one in there. So there we go. And a lot of the stuff is just spare screws that I have lying around, so I mean, you can really do this with just about anything. Yeah, nothing fancy, just quick, simple, functional. Okay, so we got the first piece done in place. Now we'll move on to the second one. Alright, so that one's good. What we'll want to do on this, we're going to want to make this piece same length as right here. Like I said, it doesn't have to be perfect. All this is just making something that's quick, easy, and functional. So we'll get this cut down to size, and we'll be ready for the next step. Safety first. One. Two. All right, so now we've got our big, heavy joint there. It's going to set just like that. So, one down, one to go. Once we get the other side completely made up, then we'll start running the cross sections. That'll keep everything from swaying side to side. But for this, right now, we're good. Clamp on these pieces here. Right there.
unscrew everything. 1, 2. Okay. Like that. I'll just do one more pretty good.
Alright, so now number 2 is done. So, got both of our stands. Once we get everything drawn up on them, then be good stable. Alright, so we're going to start by tacking this first one on. We'll put that in through the top, laying across just like so with the pieces there. We'll see how that works first, just to get our spacing right. So we will put this first one right here. I'm just going to go through this pre-existing hole, hammer that down, and I'm just going to go out to that edge there. So,
Go ahead. We'll get this in there.
boom. Just like that.
Measure again. Yeah, that's good.
All right. Boom. Too easy. So now that we have that already done, we know where we're going with this. So what I'm going to do is get a couple more screws in there. That way it won't be able to pivot on those singles. Oh yeah, that's really solid now.
Put one more in here just to get measure.
Alright, so now that we got it all tightened up, be able to set that outside. Got our target. So, I mean, we're just some repurposed wood. I mean, it's functional, it's free, and don't have to break the bank buying target stands that are going to get beat up. So, quick, easy way, cheap way to have target stands. Thanks for watching. If you like this, like and subscribe, and I'll be bringing you more content, so stay tuned. Thanks.